For years, bizarre reports of an alien creature have been emerging from the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico. Set deep in the hills, the Arecibo Space Observatory has been attempting communication with deep space for the past 40 years. Rather alarmingly, it may not have only received a reply, but a personal visit. In the last 2 years, Puerto Rico has been terrorized by a creature known locally as the chupacabra, or the goat sucker, because, like a vampire, it drains the blood out of its victims. Over the years, several people claim to have shot actual photos of it or given eyewitness descriptions, and in one case, shot what was claimed to be footage of a chupacabra hiding in a forest. Like the Riveras, thousands of people across Puerto Rico have had first-hand UFO and chupacabra sightings. To them, this phenomena is very real. The effects on their livestock is huge, and the results are often terrifying.
According to most of the witnesses, I would say that the chupacabra's description seems to be like a blend between a so-called gray alien-type entity, something reptilian. Most witnesses have said that to them, the outline of the body, the shape of this creature is something like, to make a comparison, if you take in account the description of the so-called velociraptor dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park movie, okay, take away the head and the tail, and instead of the head, place the head of one of the gray aliens, big, elongated, bulgy red eyes, and it has something like quills or spines or whatever in the back of the head going down to the lower back. They are lying down. At a certain moment, they stand up and start vibrating very fast, and crossing between each other until they produce something like a humming sound, very softly. These spines or quills or whatever illuminate themselves and start changing colors from red to green to yellow to violet to blue, etc., etc. And all of a sudden, they shoot away, they fly. According to the witnesses, whatever is produced by these quills or spines or whatever they are, seems to create an energy or something that impels these creatures, okay, and make them fly.
There's another little community called Campo Rico in the foothills of El Yunque National Rainforest. And it's there you find Miguel and Madeline Augusto. Both of them have had fantastically interesting experiences. For instance, she was going to get in her automobile, so she went to her garage, started to get in, but then the window of the garage was about a foot away from her. She turned, and there was a chupacabra staring at her 3 feet away, and she screamed, and the chupacabra kind of reacted, and the chupacabra went running off. She said, when the chupacabra ran off, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And she said, usually that, and I saw the road, I actually drove on it. She said that road is very, very busy because people are coming out of San Juan at that time. She said all of a sudden it seemed like there was a stillness everywhere, and there was no traffic on the road, and the chupacabra ran off. Now she saw the chupacabra again several days later, running across a couple of 100 feet away from her. And several days after that, her husband saw a chupacabra. His friend, he has an auto repair shop. His friend came to him and said, "Oh, come, Miguel, you've got to see there's a chupacabra down the street." So Miguel ran down the street with his friend, and when they got there was a chupacabra hovering in the air. Not flying, hovering. Now here you get strangeness again. How can an animal without wings, without propellers, without a jet engine, hover in the air? But it hovered in the air for several minutes, and they watched it, and it was very close, and then it just blinked out, like we see so many UFOs, for that matter, able to just seemingly disappear.
At this moment, the phenomenon has spread all over Puerto Rico. All the municipalities have been visited by these creatures. And there's another weird angle, as I told you before, that seems to imply that they are connected to UFOs and another type of alien beings because they have been seen together by several witnesses in different parts of the island, witnesses that don't know each other. So after checking out all these accounts, the descriptions given, the testimonies given, the drawings they made and everything are similar. So we had to take this in account, and it seems to be the case that this is somehow alien related.
The locals who've actually seen the creature are not only 100% convinced that it's real, but that it's extraterrestrial in origin.
Como en 3 pies de alto, con las piernas bien finas, los pies en forma como de garras, alas extendidas, alas grandes, las manos en forma de garras.
No era como un pájaro, es algo anormal de lo que uno usualmente es algo como así, ¿ves? Pero ¿sabes que los pájaros hacen y vuelan y de? No, eso fue una cosa rápida, pero bien rápida. Que las hojas hicieron y yo dije, wow. Es algo como inusual, que no es normal el movimiento de este animal.
Era combinación de gris oscuro y gris claro, entre manchas. No. Los ojos como gotas de agua, pero grandes. En la nariz casi no se le notaba, pero se le veían sí los dos abrotitos y la boca bien pequeña.
Sabemos que no es de este planeta.
Sabemos
eso
que
es
no.
de otro planeta.
Exacto, esto no es.
Eso está aquí. Eso se va y vuelve, se desaparece, está un tiempo por fuera y vuelve de nuevo, porque ya están yendo juicio de nuevo.
Ya estamos sintiendo otra vez los mismos síntomas
Ahora,
de
la
esto.
semana
otra vez.
pasada en Quinto Dorado, en un sitio, mataron 25 gallos de pelea y es lo mismo, porque cuando estaba aquí, se mudaba allá y de allá mudaba acá. Y para nosotros eso vuela, porque nosotros lo veíamos en el piso y nosotros estaba enganchando los
Sí.
No pienso que sea un animal. Tiene que ser algo, es algo que no es normal ni común dentro de nuestro planeta.
As the reports of chupacabra sightings keep coming in, the media interest and the public hysteria has steadily increased.
The public is very interested in the phenomena. In certain moments there have been like a state of hysteria or panic. For example, on one occasion there were more than 60 or 70 cases in a single day, okay, where animals were killed. These creatures were seen at the sites all over Puerto Rico in different places. At the same time, UFOs and the creatures running around in these places. And I'm talking about a single day, more than 60 or 70 cases. This was reported to the TV media here in Puerto Rico. There were flying saucers on top of radio stations with these creatures running around at the same time, as in the town of Barranquitas, over Radio Prócer radio station. And in many news, they had to include psychologists, okay, to brief the people, to keep people calm, the children, because there was almost a state of panic here in Puerto Rico due to the situation.
In another bizarre sighting from the rainforest, some farmers saw a group of chupacabras ripping up a bamboo grove.
Some of the community was gathered together of these 12 families. There was quite a group of them because the chupacabras were in a bamboo grove just a few feet from them, ripping up this bamboo and throwing it up in the air. And the people were just standing there wondering what's going on, why are they doing this? So some of the men did shoot into the bamboo grove. Later they found a piece of bamboo with a kind of blue stain on it. Now that's the only liquid, the only kind of blood-like material that I know of that's been seen in any case where a chupacabra may have been injured.
Jorge Martin, along with most of his fellow researchers and many of those who've had sightings, believe that the Puerto Rican authorities have been ordered to deliberately cover up the truth about chupacabras by the United States government, and that it may be part of some covert biological testing program.
The U.S. federal authorities have been involved in this situation from the beginning. Because of the special relationship, political relationship between Puerto Rico and the United States, most of the Puerto Rican government agencies, such as the Agriculture Department, etc., are subject, I would say, to the control of U.S. federal agencies, such as the U.S. Federal Department of Agriculture supervises, to a certain degree, the Puerto Rico Department of Agriculture too. The real reason was, according to this source, that same day, the Puerto Rico Agriculture Department had received from the United States a report on some analysis they had made on some substances they had found on the tissues of animal killed here in Puerto Rico. that had been made by Ames Laboratory. And they found that there were some enzymes there, some proteinic enzymes that were totally unknown to man, okay? Totally unclassifiable. The properties of these enzymes had to do with the characteristics found in many of the animals who died by these creatures. For example, the blood wouldn't clot in these animals, okay? It remained fresh and liquid all the time. The bodies wouldn't go into rigor mortis, you know, they were flexible. These creatures, whatever they are, wherever they come from, inject this type of substance or these enzymes into the animals to keep them under, I would say, living conditions, so they can extract most of the fluids and bloods in this way. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do it. I believe that the US government and the Puerto Rican government are denying these facts, that this is going on, these creatures exist, etc. First of all, because this is something totally anomalous, okay? Something abnormal that's going on. These creatures, they believe, might provoke a panic here in Puerto Rico if this is acknowledged openly by the official government that this is really going on. Also, as we have found that there seems to be an alien angle somehow related with the situation and UFOs, etc., if it is difficult for them to say openly that this is for real, these creatures do exist and they are doing this, it is even more difficult for them to explain the relationship between one phenomenon and the other, and they seem to be linked. So we have to understand their position.
Jorge is always busy investigating cases. For instance, not long ago, he had an ex-policeman come to him, and, who was with his family, and they were driving a Sunday drive in El Yunque National Rainforest, and they got lost, so they took a side road by accident. And the man told Jorge, he said, we came to this steel block, cinder block type structure, and he says there were these two robo-like cop things standing in front at attention. And he said, we just kind of drove up and didn't know what to do. And then he said, all of a sudden, a Jeep came whirling out from behind this thing with more or less humanoid creatures like you and I in it. And the men were waving at it and said, go away, quickly, go away. Now, you know, that's a strange story. But remember that El Yunque National Rainforest has had strange UFO activity. People see large craft descending into the rainforest all the time. There's speculation that there may be collaboration with American scientists going on there. There's speculation that the ETs may just have a base of their own in El Yunque. Strange things happen.
Many people believe that Puerto Rico is being utilized as an experimentation site due to the fact that we belong to, but we are not directly a part of the continental United States. It is very, very convenient to use Puerto Rico to do this type of experiments. We also have the theory that all this alien activity that happens so much in Puerto Rico and all these experiences that our people are having with this type of phenomena may be actually a study being made by the US authorities. As they have most of the US agencies here, they can check on the situations, what's going on, see the social changes, the behavior on our people, and on feeling the presence of these alien creatures, the alien reality. I really do believe that they are doing some type of study here using Puerto Rico to see how this affects human society, and later on use this data elsewhere.
As uncomfortable as it is for the authorities, the link between UFOs and the chupacabras just won't go away. According to the reports, in several cases, one follows the other.
Eran como las 2:30 de la madrugada. Yo estaba viendo televisión. Estaba solo en el balcón de mi casa. En ese momento vi una luz que me hizo sentir bien en paz conmigo mismo. Y en ese momento la luz estaba penetrando a través del techo de la casa. En ese momento pues yo me levanté y me pregunté que quién vendría a visitarme. En ese momento, al yo levantarme y mirar hacia dónde procedía la luz, Para mi mayor sorpresa fue que me encontré con una nave interplanetaria. Para mí era una nave interplanetaria de un tamaño de como de 3 o 4 o 5 pisos de altura, que cubría todo este valle que está aquí, que se encuentra aquí frente de mi casa. Y fui al baño y me lavé la cara para ver si era cierto lo que yo estaba viendo. Y volví y miré por la ventana y lo estaba viendo y estaba ahí, estaba estable, sin ningún tipo de ruido, solamente la luz que estaba iluminando toda esta área. Yo sentí un revolú de perros ladrando, muchos perros ladrando. Yo pensaba que eran que los perros míos, como yo tengo muchos perros, yo pensaba que eran mis perros que estaban en la calle molestando a alguien. Y entonces cuando miro así, estaban corriendo detrás de la criatura, esta extraña criatura. En ese momento de la nave salió un rayo de luz, o yo no sé lo que fue, que como que la levitó y se la llevó rápido, en menos de 5 segundos.
The harder he's looked for answers, the more leads and connections Jorge Martin has found that point directly at military involvement.
To me, there's an obvious military connection between the chupacabra phenomenon and the apparent link with the UFO phenomenon behind it also. Because we have several cases in which these creatures have been observed together with UFOs, but in some cases, some witnesses, reliable, serious witnesses, have seen a military personnel, non-identified, dressed in black clothing, uniforms, escorting some of these craft. And we have to think twice and say, hey, what's going on here? We also have this military confidential source. He's an officer, retired now from the U.S. Army. This man was part of a U.S. UFO crash retrieval team. And on one occasion in 1960, according to him, he was taken from Fort Sill in Oklahoma to Wichita Falls in Texas, and then to a site in New Mexico, where he had to go with a team of specialists, military people, government intelligence people, and technicians. And there was a live, tall, live humanoid alien there, very human-looking to a certain degree. Next to this one were two very strange creatures, okay? They were alive too. And he said they were very much like the so-called chupacabras that are being seen in Puerto Rico now. He told me that the US government knows about the existence of these creatures for a long time and that they seem to be alien in origin, okay?
Well, the humanoids that have been seen several times in the company of the chupacabras they look a lot like us. They've been male, by the way, and they've been approximately 5 feet 5 inches to 5 foot 9. Again, they look very much like us, except for the bristly crew-cut hair that they had, very black and very, very wide-stranded hair. And of course, you would stand out in a crowd. They can't pass like maybe some other ETs can in our culture because they have red eyes. And I'm sure that would, unless you wore very dark sunglasses, you would be suspect.
Some people say that these creatures are coming to Puerto Rico because of the presence of the Arecibo Radio Observatory here in the town of Arecibo that is sending out signals to outer space for ET to contact us. But I can tell you, these type of creatures are all over South America, the Caribbean, most of the United States, and other places.
You know, the chupacabras are a mythical thing, and maybe it is, but this is something, and it's a cross between something. What? I don't know.
I'm not sure on that part. All I know is it wasn't normal.
I knew that it wasn't something good, so then I just turned and started running this way and just ran and ran.
I'm convinced that the chupacabras are for real. I don't know whether they've been bioengineered in this world. I don't think we could bioengineer a animal species that can do some of the things that this one does. I mean, how can we bioengineer interdimensionality into a creature when we don't even understand interdimensionality?
Well, some people are thinking about the possibility that if they are attacking animals now, who knows if in the future they might attack someone. But I can tell you this, we have been studying the behavior pattern of these creatures for a long time. They seem to be intelligent to a certain degree, even though they seem to be under the control of other type of humanoid beings that have been observed with them. We have many cases in which they have been together with children. They take the children by their hands, look at them very very closely, very curious about them, and then they leave. They won't attack them. We have even cases in which people have confronted this creature face to face at close range, and they won't attack them. They just will look at them and leave the place. In Puerto Rico, we have no case at all in which there have been an apparent attack on a human by any of these creatures.
The jury is still out on what's going on in Puerto Rico. Could a real-life alien creature be killing its livestock at will? Or has some genetic mutant escaped from a top-secret facility on the island? Right now, no one knows. But as long as the killing and the blood draining continues, the residents of this tropical island will continue to live in fear.
Esto no se ha terminado. Esto está ahí. Yo le puedo certificar que está ahí porque yo he sentido últimamente, ahora.
Tengo miedo que esa criatura vuelva a aparecer por aquí.
Estamos viendo algo que se sabe que no tiene existencia en este sistema.
Nosotros estamos preocupados y nos preocupa y vamos a seguir luchando contra eso, independientemente de quién se oponga. Nosotros estamos comprometidos y nuestro alcalde está comprometido a seguir luchando y buscando lo que sea.